Hi, my name's Tia, and I'm your friendly neighborhood middle-aged housewife who's got a little bit of a midlife crisis story that's turned out pretty darn good. So, my name's Tia, and I am a 47-year-old housewife and mother who found myself questioning what I was going to do with my time because our children had all grown up and didn't need me as much. They need me for certain things, but not like they did when they were young. And I had kind of this perfect storm that kind of, everyone has these aha moments in their life. And for some of us, it can really be these pivotal moments, these huge life-changing moments. And I had mine in the summer of 2018. So just a little bit of a backstory. I grew up in a small rural town in Arizona. My upbringing, my father raised me on a horse ranch, and I had chores in the morning and at night. I was an athlete. I was an honor student, so I was very busy. I loved I was a cheerleader, and then I ran track, and I got into strength training my sophomore, junior year of high school. Strength training continued on for me into college until I was injured when I was 19. So I really, all these years later, here I am, 47, and when I was 19, I was hurt, and I still really found myself identifying with that person I was when I was so strong when I was 19, and that was such a long time ago, and I didn't want to be that old person who was talking about back in my day, when I was 19 and this is what I did. Because after I got hurt, life went on, and I got a little older and got married, and I had 3 children in 3 years. I got really fat. The highest recorded weight is 310 pounds. And that was 19 years ago. So I lost the weight almost 19 years ago. And I had a series of horrible events really in the last 15 years with my health. And in the summer of 18, my husband and I took our first couples only vacation. All of our vacations had always been with the kids, and it was usually going to visit family. So we did our first couples vacation. We went to Jamaica, and we stayed at a Sandals resort, and it was absolutely amazing. I highly recommend it. But they have all these activities that you can do, and one of them was paddleboarding, and I was watching all of these people in the water paddleboarding. I mean, we had people 60, 70, and one guy I'm pretty sure was 80 out there paddleboarding. And I couldn't paddleboard. I didn't have the strength, the stability, or the flexibility to paddleboard. And I had a little bit of a mini breakdown over it. And we did another excursion to Dunn's River Falls. And at Dunn's River Falls, there's a walkway, a stone walkway, and there were big people, little people, old, young. I mean, everybody was going up to the top of the falls, hiking. It was just a walkway. And I was terrified. I was so afraid of doing this and falling and hurting myself, because I do have a total knee replacement on my left side. So I was really afraid, and I realized that all of these grand plans my husband and I have for his retirement in a few years and traveling and going to visit our kids wherever they end up establishing their careers was not going to be in the cards for me because my health was so bad. I really don't think my prognosis truly was going to be very good. I had my second stroke in February of 19, and I got really afraid after that trip. So we got back from Jamaica, and I continued to have health problems and became more frail and more weak. If I would go grocery shopping, I would be done for the day. I would go home and I would sit on the couch, or I would go lay down in my bed, and the grocery shopping trip, it did me in, and that's all I was good for. And I was, 44, 45 years old at the time, and I thought, this is not how I want the next 40 years to be. And am I going to have another 40 years at this rate and at how crappy my health has been? So I decided, at that point, my diet was pretty good, just very low calorie, just because I didn't have much of an appetite, and there wasn't a need for me to have, a super calorically dense diet, because what was I doing? So I decided to start looking for somebody to train me. And I realized that I needed somebody with a decent amount of experience training people more middle age, because we are going to be more accident prone or injury prone, injury prone than probably somebody in their 20s is going to be. And I wanted somebody who was closer to my age. I wanted somebody who had more of an advanced education, as far as I wanted, not that there's anything wrong with getting a certification. However, it was really important to me, with all my medical problems, that I had somebody with some kind of a health science, sports science background. So I started looking for my trainer, and I found her. Her name is Marcia, and you'll see her in videos and vlogs. And she has a master's in kinesiology. She was an athlete in high school and college. And I really don't know where I would be without her. I started with her on August 2nd, 2019. And I started 3 days a week with her. And we joke about this, but I think that it's really not a joke because I think she was really worried that I would drop dead in her studio. So I was worried I was going to drop dead in her studio because I was so unbelievably out of shape. I was what we call skinny fat, where I was very thin, like an American size 2, which I'm like a 4 or a 6 now. So, but I was very, very, I kind of feel like I looked like a candle that was melting, just everything hung. I mean, and at my age, things don't stay up forever, you know what I mean? But I just looked very frail, and I looked very thin, and very ill, because I was. And I was really afraid, and I just thought, okay, if I can get through this first week and go to all 3 sessions, I think I'll be okay. Like, I just kept willing myself, I'm gonna get through this first week. And muscle memory really is a thing, because my body started responding to it, and I started remembering how much I loved being sore from training, and how motivated and how accomplished I felt that I was doing this, and how good I felt about myself, and how my self-confidence started coming back. And I just felt like I was coming alive again. But I then started training 5 days a week with her. And then I realized one day that she trained people 6 and sometimes 7 days a week, depending on her schedule. So now I train 6 days a week with her. And my goal is always to do an additional 4, like 1 hour cardio sessions a week. And it's not for fat loss necessarily. It's because both sides of my family, everybody seems to drop dead from heart-related diseases, heart disease. So it's important to me to be, to be using my heart muscle effectively and keep it strong. So that's why I do cardio. So the reason why I decided that I was ready to do YouTube, I had friends who I felt were being very kind and saying, that I had something interesting to say, and that they thought that there would be other people who might want to hear what I had to say in my experience and, the stories of my life and where I've been, and kind of see what I do in a typical workout and just how I live. And I want to take you guys with me on vacations. But I got to this point because I realized that my whole life my whole adult life pretty much had been about being something to someone else, being a good wife, being a good mother, being a good daughter, a good sister, a good friend, everything. And I think a lot of us live that way, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I do think that it's important. It gives your life meaning. But the mistake that I made was that I forgot to be something to myself. And I found myself, at 45, 46 years old, realizing that I didn't even really know what I liked to do, hobby-wise. Like, I wasn't somebody who painted or knitted or did anything like that. I had just been a wife and a mom, really, and I wanted my hobby to be me. I had basically been a professional patient for several years with all the illnesses and things I've been dealing with. I have the big things that I deal with on a day-to-day basis. I have rheumatoid arthritis, and then I also have fibromyalgia, and then I have osteoarthritis, and I kind of feel like you hit a certain age and everybody has that. But so those are the things that affect me the most on a day-to-day basis. So I wanted to kind of talk about my story and where I've come from, and offer up some kind of encouragement that no matter how old you are or what you've been through or how bad you think it might be, that if somebody who has gone through what I've gone through, getting injured, eventually making it up over 300 pounds. I've had 2 strokes in my life. I've had cancer, total knee replacement. I just had the results of an MRI on my shoulder today. I'll talk about another video, but I'm still kind of on the floor about my shoulder MRI. And that you can still get back in the gym. You can still start feeding yourself better. You can make a difference. You can achieve the things that you want to do. And I'm nowhere near done, but to give you an idea, in August of 19, when I started training again, and how bad I was physically, I have booked a trip with 5 other girls from the gym for the week of my birthday in August of 2021 in Costa Rica, it's basically an adventure vacation, like a running, hiking adventure vacation. So if I can do that in 2 years, think about what you could do in 2 years. So that's kind of the adventure I want to take you guys with me on, is let's see what I can do, and then maybe you guys can do it with me. So let's go do it.